Good morning, happy Vlogmas, day 20. I was singing because I thought we were going to die because there was a car coming.
They were in the other lane.
They were in the other lane. I'm still waking up, clearly.
Happy Vlogmas, day 20.
Happy. I did definitely turn it into a song. That kind of worked. Yeah. I could have just owned it.
But it was also to the tune of Happy Birthday. Happy Vlogmas.
I don't know how that happened. Just, I guess, when my life is flashing before my eyes, I just turn life.
It's life and death and birth.
And yeah, I just turn life into a song.
Circle of life.
Anyway, Tyler is very kindly driving me to the restaurant where Ree and I are going to have breakfast.
I double as a sex-based Uber for one client.
We're going to Farmer's Bottega in Mission Hills.
That's what she said.
It doesn't make any sense.
Wait, you've never heard of a Farmer's Bottega?
No.
He holds your legs.
No, you're making it up.
Yes, I am.
Stop it. I'm so confused. I'm not awake and I've only had one cup of coffee. That is not enough to
had my
fully
Adderall,
brain
so
on.
that's, that kicked in.
That's really nice.
It hasn't kicked in yet. I mean, it's
Sounds
demonstrated
lovely.
by our conversation this morning.
Yes. Yeah, I asked Tyler, have you taken your Adderall yet? Because he jumped from between 4 topics in the span of like 2.5 minutes. And they were all like directed at me or like either directly or indirectly. And so I thought, wow, I feel very, what just happened? Oh, has he taken his Adderall yet? Turns out he had, but
Hadn't kicked in yet.
Very recently. Anyway, and then we joked, like, how in God's name did we not know he had ADHD? Like, it's so clear now.
That I made it to 40 without a diagnosis.
We're like, oh, it's
is either I am really good at masking. I'm like Jim Carrey levels of mask. Or...
But it's just your eccentricities.
Yes. He's a bit eccentric. I mean, he can't stay on one topic for more than 18 seconds at a time.
Eccentricities of when you have ADHD and you mask.
The other day, Heather turned to me and said, have you taken your Adderall? And it was because I was Googling facts about Milton Berle's penis. And we were talking about something completely different.
I was talking about my demeanor in class.
Yes.
And and I said, oh, I think I need to kind of pull back. Because
only use so much.
Just only be so much of myself because I felt like I was being too much in class. And then Tyler, we're not going to get fully into it because I'm, again, trying to keep this relatively.
Yeah, no, they've got the Google machines.
Okay. Anyway, so that's all you need to know about that. So, anyway... It is Vlogmas Day 20, headed to breakfast. I've been to this place once before with Ree, but I'm now sort of rediscovering restaurants as a omnivore. Like last night we went to, actually, we just passed it. We didn't go there. Tyler went there to pick up a very, very, very late dinner because I was very hungry after rehearsal and I just didn't have very much, but he went to Los Panchos, which is I would say in Hillcrest, our favorite Mexican restaurant. It's our go-to Mexican restaurant, and I usually get I would get like a fish burrito or fish tacos or something, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with carne asada. And it was really good, and it was like just enough food in terms of feeling full. You're gonna probably want to get over soon, because it's coming up. But then about 30 minutes after eating it, I started to feel a little queasy. It's going to come up really fast, I think.
Is it just past like Arki Sushi?
Wait, no, I got thrown off by the hill, but it is coming up fast, I think. Okay. Yeah, it's after Lazy Acres. Sorry. I got all confused. I usually walk, so being driven there is throwing me off. Yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, oof. That might have been a little hardcore going with carne asada.
Yeah, carne asada street tacos at 11 p.m.
Also, just eating that late, eating like a full meal that late, that was another mistake, I think.
In the span of time it took me to set up the coffee maker, you had polished that off.
Okay, now I think it's
coming. Child. There's Lavash, there's Starbucks.
Yes, it's across
Starbucks.
Here, so maybe just pull up in front of there.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, right here is good. Okay.
Oh, this place.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Say bye to the vlog.
Goodbye to the vlog.
Yay. Back home from my breakfast with Ree, I had a classic Eggs Benedict. I've never had just a classic Eggs Benedict before. So yeah, just like re-experiencing the classics with meat. All right, there we go. I think I'm trying to mentally link sort of where I left off, because I was talking about how the carne asada tacos did not sit super well. It just was uncomfortable. Like, it wasn't intensely awful. I didn't feel super sick or nauseous, but I think it was just some mild indigestion. I don't know. But then it went away and I was able to sleep. But yeah, I think I am gonna go easy on the red meat and just stick with white meat and pork, and just like a little less with the red meat. But anyway, so it is 11:20. I have so much free time. Oh my god. I am scheduled for a berries class at 4. I started like massaging my own neck and it started to feel really good. Oh my god. So yeah, berries class at 4. I need to edit yesterday's vlog. I have not written in a very long time. It's been over a week, I think, since I last wrote anything in my novels. So I think I am going to write today, but I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it. And even if it's just 100 words, just take a little baby step in that. Oh, that was my shoulder. Anyway, okay, I'm not hungry, but I have a sweet tooth, so I figure why not do my chocolate advent calendar. It's day 20. Yep. Well, no, it's not the cherry cordial. So now the chances that the cherry cordial are coming up are going to be even more likely. No, it is the white chocolate. Oh, white chocolate praline heart. Yay, let's see how this tastes. That one's pretty good. Yummy. That hit a spot. I needed hit. So my guess, if I'm gonna guess the order of what's coming next, I feel like my time is coming, and day 21 is gonna be the cherry cordial. Day 22 will be the white chocolate ganache bliss. 23 will be milk chocolate snowman, and the last day will be milk chocolate Santa. You've heard it here, folks. That's what I think it's going to be. And if / when tomorrow is the cherry cordial, I need to have another chocolate on deck prepared, because I've already eaten the Reese's tree that I got yesterday. So yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna get to editing yesterday's vlog and just chill, I guess. Enjoy my time off. Do a little bit of reading. I just keep messing with my back. I don't know why. It just feels good. There it goes. Okay, I'm gonna stop stretching and snap, crackle, popping all over the place. I will see you next time I do something interesting. Today was such a nice, chill day. Loved getting to see a friend in the morning. Loved getting to wake up next to Tyler. And just, I did some reading. watched a lot of YouTube. I didn't write, but what are you gonna do? Can't get it all done. Oh wait, now I just adjusted how I'm sitting, so let me move the camera. Okay. I pulled out the camera for a couple of reasons. All right, the first reason is I did mention a few days ago that I wanted to sneak in a little bit of a 2022 reading wrap up into one of my Vlogmases. So I'm gonna do that now. Don't think it's gonna take very long. I'm not gonna go in and review all the books or anything. Just like, hey, if you're curious about what I read for fun in 2022, so this does not include any books or texts or anything that I had to read for school. I do include plays that I read in preparation either for a role I was already cast in or anything like that, or something that I had auditioned for. So anyway, yeah, so that's the first reason. And then after that, I'm just gonna close out the day. It is 7:40. I'm just sort of chilling out. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more reading. And yeah, that'll be it for the day. I'm really excited about tomorrow. I'm excited to go for a hike and hang out with Tyler and Aaron and Andrea. I think they're gonna order Indian food, so yum, yummy. Okay, let's do this. I read in total 33 texts of some kind in 2022. Of those 33 texts, 3 of them were plays. So I differentiate because, of course, plays are not going to take as long to read. They're just not as long. So 30 books, 3 plays, 33 texts. Okay, this is in order of when I read them. Okay, so I read The Vine Witch at the beginning of this year, which, oh my God, that feels like so long ago. I think I started reading it in December of 2021 and I just finished it right at the top, right at the beginning of 2022. This is a book that my friend Rachel recommended I read just like as an easy read. I think I know for sure I read the physical copy, ended up decluttering it. It was fine, like nothing remarkable, nothing I would recommend. So I read that. I listened to Midnight Sun. Never get those, I don't even know, 20 hours back of my life. I remember I finished that one while hiking El Cap. And towards the end of it, I had it on, I shit you not, 2x speed to get through it. Why didn't I just not finish it? Why didn't I just DNF, you know? I don't know, people. I don't know. I'm a completist. It is very hard for me to just not finish something. Not to say I've never DNF'd a book, but don't read this book. Okay, moving on. I read Fable and I read Namesake shortly after that. I didn't read it right after, but those 2 were pretty good. I listened to those both on audiobook. Most of the books, the fiction, wow, words are hard. Most of the novels I read this year were over audiobook because of the amazing app, Libby. I love that app. Shout out to Danny, who's in the Revlon Girl, for recommending that to me. In between those 2 books, I listened to Sadie, which I remember really, really liking even more than Fable and Namesake, and does really well in audiobook form because it is in the structure of like a true crime podcast. So yeah. After that, I listened to Red, White, and Royal Blue. Oh man, I remember at one point I was listening to it right before bed while it was a night that Tyler was sleeping over, and it just happened to be on one of the sex scenes, and look, I mean, I'm usually I'm just so used to the age gap between me and Tyler at this point. But for some reason, listening to this scene with Tyler like spooning me, like we're literally, I'm trying to fall asleep, and so I put this book on. At the end of the day, I had a timer set and everything, and it's just like they're talking about travel lube and having sex in like a horse stable, I think. And Tyler's behind me like, what are you reading? What is this? Like, yes, it is. It's better than smut, I'll tell you that. It's like actually really well developed characters. I enjoyed it. It was a good read, or good listen. But yeah, I will never forget that particular memory, because I really did kind of feel like I was listening to teen smut with my dad. Like that kind of vibe. Not that I ever think of Tyler as my daddy maybe, but not my dad. Anyway, I'll keep that in. No one's gonna watch this video all the way to the end. If you did, comment daddy. Anyway, yeah, okay, I'm blushing, oh my god. So after the, along with red, white, and royal blue came the nicknames that Tyler and I have for one another: Big Lube Big Pump and Travel Lube. He's Big Pump, I'm Travel Lube. All right. Next, I listened to Atomic Habits, so nonfiction. I really liked that. The year prior, I listened to The Power of Habit. I liked Atomic Habits a lot better. So if you are someone who wants like actual action steps, like really actionable advice, I would recommend Atomic Habits. If you're looking more for like the science and the studies behind habits with some actionable steps, but it's like really a lot of the data and the research, then The Power of Habit. But Atomic Habits references The Power of Habit. So yeah. After that, I listened to Daisy Jones and the Six. I think this was my first, is that Taylor Jenkins Reid? I don't have the authors' names in front of me right now. I think this might have been the first Taylor Jenkins Reid book I've ever been exposed to. And I liked it a lot. Also, I think I already said this audiobook, but this does really well in audiobook form because it has a full cast of actors playing all the different characters, including Judy Greer. So super great. And the format of it, if you don't know, is kind of like a behind the music sort of interview style format, and so it just lends itself to audiobook really well. I enjoyed that one a lot. Then I read Turning Off the Morning News, which is a play that I read because the director reached out to me asking if I was interested in auditioning for it. So I read it to decide like whether I'm interested in auditioning for it, and then I liked it, and so I auditioned for it and I got in. So there you go. I played Rosalind, if you're curious. So after that, I read The Revlon Girl because for some reason around this time, so this was in February. I was taking a break from theater because it was the busiest and most difficult semester for me. I just had the most amount of classes and I had my practicum. It was just I couldn't do any theater, but because I had that energy of like, I can't do theater, it felt like everyone was reaching out to me. So like, hey, will you audition for this? Will you do this? And I had to be like, no, or I had to, if it was for something further out in the future, like Turning Off the Morning News was over the summer, and then The Revlon Girl is happening now. So I knew I'd be able to later on. But yeah, so I read The Revlon Girl when the director sent that over to me, and that one was cool because I read that thinking like, I don't know what's gonna happen from this. It's just the director's like, hey, read this script, tell me what you think, was the prompt. I'm like, oh, I liked it. Oh, cool. If you could see yourself as any character, what would it be? Probably Revlon. cool, so do you want to play Revlon? That's how that went. Anyway, then I listened to A Touch of Darkness, which is a Persephone and Hades retelling that was recommended to me by one of my classmates, and liked it fine. Like, it was what it was, and it did what it was intended to do. But then I listened to A Touch of Ruin, and like, it turned me completely off of the rest of the series, because I just wanted both of those characters to get the f over themselves. Like, I couldn't take it. But yeah, so that was that for that series for me. Then I listened to Daring Greatly. So it's a Brene Brown. I actually don't remember this really doing much for me. I love Brene Brown, but this one, I don't have any takeaways from it. It was just sort of like, yeah. But maybe that's because I was so far into being in my training to become a therapist that I guess I'm no longer a lay person when it comes to vulnerability and emotions and like relationships. And I can't even remember what she talked about in that book, honestly. It just, nothing felt new, I guess, to me. Then I listened to Rebecca. So this is a classic. Enjoyed this. If you are trying to get into like classic literature, I think Rebecca is pretty accessible. I liked it. Oof. Then I listened to My Dark Vanessa. One of my favorite books I listened to this entire year. It has stuck with me. And it's one, so when Taylor Swift's album Midnights came out, specifically the 3 a.m. edition, Would've, Could've, Should've, I mean, we all know who that song's about. But that song also makes me think of My Dark Vanessa a lot. Then, so the same, I'm rolling my eyes for a very different reason. The same classmate who recommended A Touch of Darkness to me recommended Pack Up the Moon. So very different books. And she said, please tell me when you get to a specific part and send me a picture of your face, because she knew I'd be crying. I was like bawling my eyes out. It's so well written, amazing, sad, heartbreaking, amazing. I already said that. Also one of my favorite books I read this year. Then I finally finished listening to A Breath of Snow and Ashes. Y'all, Outlander used to be one of my favorite series, and then the books just kept going, and the pace of the books slowed down to a crawl, and this was just very slow going. I think I had to rent it or borrow it from the library on Libby like 6 times. It took so long. Okay, after that I listened to The Cruel Prince, which nothing remarkable. Then I listened to Deep Work, and this is another nonfiction. It had some good stuff in there, but nothing stuck with me, really. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I already did some of the elements that of this technique, of like the deep work technique. Maybe I was already doing some of that, or I just didn't need any of that at that time in my life. I was so busy. I finished reading that. Oh, looks like I finished reading that when I was in Montreal, or listening to it. So I had already gotten through the busiest time in my life, hopefully ever, because this year has been like the most demanding, busy time in my life, trying to pop my sternum. So I'm like, well, I was too busy to listen to it when maybe I needed it, and now I don't need it anymore. So then I listened to Archer's Voice, which was another recommendation by that classmate. And this was another one, it was just okay. It was just okay. Then I listened to The Guest List, which was a thriller, and I did enjoy that one quite a bit. Then I finished reading The Body Is Not an Apology. So this is another nonfiction. That one had just been sitting on my shelf for so long. Finally got around to finishing it. That one might be one I just revisit every once in a while. After that, I listened to Lock Every Door. Another thriller, but not as good as The Guest List, in my opinion. Then I listened to Anatomy, a love story, which was just fine. There's some of these books I just feel like I've aged out of in terms of being the target audience. And Anatomy was just like, look, I'm not 16 years old anymore. I don't care. I don't know. Then I listened to My Year of Rest and Relaxation. And that was a book I listened to. It's gonna be one maybe I think about a little bit, but nothing like remarkable. Then I listened to Rules for Visiting. This was a book recommended by one of my friends from high school, actually. I could not relate to the main character, and I was just really, I don't know, I felt she was kind of, I just couldn't relate to her. She just wasn't like other girls, you know? I don't know. I got like, I'm not like the other girls vibes from her, but like, I want to be like other girls, or I want to, it just, I don't know, I didn't get it. Then I listened to Harry Potter à l'école des sorciers while reading it in French, because I got the French text. So this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in French, the translation. I picked it up from a used bookstore in Montreal, and so I was reading it while listening to it at the same time, which is really cool. Then I listened to After I Do, which is, I think, another Taylor Jenkins read, and I liked this one a lot, which kind of surprised me because I can relate to the premise of this book. You know, couple gets married not that long after college, like yours truly did, and had been married for about 6 years, 7. Actually, it was 6 when I decided to separate, and is considering like all the different options. So they end up being separated for a year, which was actually one of the things my ex and I considered doing. But yeah, I won't spoil the book for you, but it's just, it was just interesting. It was interesting. I mean, very different situations, but I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Then one I think I liked a little bit more, maybe, or about the same as After I Do, I listened to The Dead Romantics. I thought it was like a really interesting premise. Girl can see ghosts and she helps them move on in the afterlife, but she's also she's a ghostwriter. And she has a new publisher who appears to her at some point as a ghost. And like, she has to help him. And it's like, you know, it's a romance, and I don't know, it's cool. I liked it. Then we're almost at the end. The 30th text I read was Lost in Yonkers, which, as you know, is a play I just auditioned for actually during Vlogmas, and I got a callback for. I'll probably be rereading it in preparation for my callback early in 2023. And then I listened to The Ex-Hex, which I actually mentioned during Vlogmas, so we're firmly in December now. But yeah, The Ex-Hex was just fine. Nothing to write home about. But then I listened to The House in the Cerulean Sea. So if you remember, that's the one I finished right before my exam last Friday. Wonderful book. Then I finished Soulful Simplicity, which was a book that, one of the minimalism books that I had asked for Christmas back in 2020. And I didn't get around to it at all in 2021. And I was so busy for most of this year, and I just finally cranked it out the other day. So my current read is Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, which is another nonfiction. Soulful Simplicity was a nonfiction as well. And I mentioned a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday, that I have 6 of Crows on deck on my Kindle. And I don't know if I'll be able to finish them all or both of those before the end of the year. We'll see. Hopefully. I mean, I'm on break now. Like, I can read as much as I want now. So if I don't finish them this month, I'll probably be finishing them very early on in 2023. So there you go. Those are all the books that I read this year. My goal, by the way, was to read 12. So I read 33. Cool. I did it. My goal next year, actually, I think I'm sort of undershooting. I'm underestimating myself again. My goal next year is to read 20. So I'm increasing my goal, but it's still less than what I read in 2022. I don't know. But the other thing I thought about doing, and I feel like my camera's gonna stop recording soon. My goal, another one of my 2022 intentions, was to watch 100 movies. And I did. I actually watched like 102, and it'll probably end up being about 105 before the end of the year. But I'm decreasing that goal next year to 75. That was a tough one to hit. I watched 21 movies in September in an attempt to catch up on that. But yeah, if the reason I brought that up is because if you're curious about the movies I watched, I can go through those pretty fast and not do like a mini review, but maybe linger on my favorites and the worst ones and the best ones. That could be fun. So maybe tomorrow. Oh no, tomorrow is not going to be a good day to do that. Maybe Thursday. All right, thank you all so much for watching Vlogmas Day 20. I will see you all tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 21. We're almost done. Oh my God, I feel bad now. I wasted so many days being sad. It's fine. We're human. I'm human. We're all human. Unless your animals are watching this, your pets. Okay. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.